Hello, I am Adventure Mom, and today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks with going to Walt Disney World during a pandemic. I think it's important to understand the situation. As we are coming up, hopefully, towards the end of what we call the pandemic, I think it's safe to say that there's still requirements put into place within Walt Disney World. But I honestly feel like right now it's at its cleanest and it's the best time to attend. Here's why. They don't have rope drop. When there's no rope drop, that means if you go early, you're able to get into the parks and get on those long waited lines quicker. And it's almost like you're getting an extra hour at the theme parks. Some of the top rides that take the longest for lines are at Magic Kingdom, Seven Dwarfs, Mine Train, at Animal Kingdom, Flight of the Avatar, at Hollywood Studios, I would say it would be between Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Train or Slinky Dog Dash. Either one of those are a long wait. And then Frozen Ever After at Epcot. Sometimes, like when we went to Epcot, we weren't there early enough and they closed the line, which means they were too full and they couldn't go back far enough, so we didn't get to go on that one right at that time. Another reason to go to Walt Disney World at this time is Magical Express. Magical Express is a 24-hour complimentary bus that will pick you up to and from the airport if you are staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel. The reason why that is such a wonderful thing is because it's going away at the end of this year. It's something that I think is a wonderful asset, as in I don't want to rent a car because then I'm paying for the car, parking at the hotel, and parking at the parks. Or I can just get a shuttle to and from the airport. But that is going away soon, and it is a 24-hour Magical Express, which means when we arrived at the airport at 1 a.m., there was a bus waiting for us. One thing to note is that the parks are closing early due to the pandemic. Because of that, your evenings are a little more open. You can fill that time with one of several things. You can get a park hopper pass and go over to another park that might still be open for a couple hours, but that might cost several $100s. So that's one option. Another option is the shuttles that go from the hotel to the theme parks also go to Disney Springs. But you have to take a shuttle back to any hotel. I recommend the shortest line. And once you've gone to the hotel, you can get on a shuttle and go to Disney Springs. Disney Springs is what would be considered like a downtown Disney. It's shops, it's restaurants. There's a couple of, I guess, entertainment activities, but it's free parking. There's nothing that costs money to get in. You'll still have to do a temperature check, just like you will going into the theme parks. But it is something to fill up the time, and it's also fun, and it has a huge Disney store there. Also, the shorter park hours, if you wanted to have that experience where you're eating at the Be Our Guest restaurant in Magic Kingdom or the Cinderella restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, you could book that reservation at the very end of the day, and then you'd kind of have the park to yourself, even though the rides are closed, after you're done eating. Just an idea. The stores and a couple of shops on Main Street are still open once the rides have all stopped. So you still got about an hour after the rides end. And also a tip, if you want to go on a ride before the ride closes, even if you're in line the minute the ride closes, you still get to ride that ride, which is awesome. It is important to understand that some things are not happening in Walt Disney World. There's no shows. They don't have parades. They have magical moments, which is like parts of parades coming at different times throughout the day. You just hear loud music and they zip on through, and then that's it. The lines are everywhere. There's a line to get into restaurant. There's lines to get into stores. The lines are long to get onto rides, but they're only long because you're 6 feet apart. But it's a much, much shorter wait time. With 30 to 35% capacity, this is the best time to go. If you're a ride or die kind of person like my family is, it's the best time to go. You can ride every single ride in one day at every single park, multiple times. It's the best time to go if you are a ride or die person. If you're a foodie, some of the food places aren't open, which is kind of a bummer, but most are open. Maybe not like the really tight locations, if you know what I mean, if it's hard to separate them. I highly recommend downloading the app. The app is imperative for doing pretty much everything. It unlocks your room, it gets you into the park, it lets you buy food in the park. Some restaurants won't even let you come into the seating area until your food has said it's ready. So it's important to get that app. Magic bands are no longer complimentary. So if you were to call, like we did, call the hotel that we want to stay at and book our tickets and hotel reservations through them, they used to send you complimentary magic bands. The magic bands are kind of like your phone. You can even put a credit card on them. But the magic bands are just a bracelet, and you can use it to scan as you go into the park. You can use it to unlock your door. They're really helpful. They make me a little nervous with my small children because sometimes they lose them, and that's kind of their ticket in, which is still okay. There's other ways to get them in, but magic bands are no longer complimentary. So if you still have them, you can still use them. But if you want to purchase them, they're usually, depending on if you get a specialized one, around $10 each. I recommend bringing multiple masks. Masks are 100% required in the park. You will wear them no matter what. I would bring multiple, especially for little ones that might take it off and lose it, or maybe even those little lanyards that you can clip them on so you can take them off. They have what's known as relaxation stations because you're not supposed to drink or eat as you're walking or standing in line. So if you need to pull over and get a drink, take your mask off, get a drink, eat some food, take a break. And I feel like I could have more breaks because I was able to go on every single ride. I recommend lots of water. Wear sunscreen, bring ponchos, pack snacks, but plan on eating and drinking in those relaxation zones. I feel like I can do a whole video on Rise of the Resistance, but what I recommend with Rise of the Resistance ride at Hollywood Studios is already have everybody loaded. I would turn off any internet connection. So if you're connected to your hotel or your house or the park even, you need to disconnect from that internet and just use your data. It will be faster because everybody's trying to get a Rise of the Resistance virtual queue at 7 a.m. that morning. So refresh up and right until, and then just click as fast as you can and get those tickets and hopefully get a boarding pass that shows that day. The other time is at 1 p.m. if you are inside the park. If you are inside the park, I highly recommend that you move away from anyone else so that you are able to get the tickets. Same thing, disconnect from the Disney World Resort internet, use your data, be in a secluded location, and hopefully you can get tickets to Rise of the Resistance. It's totally worth it. When I booked my tickets, I went directly with the resort. The thing about Walt Disney World is it has a variety of resort package deals. They have deluxe, which is really what is only available with hotel resorts in California. But in Florida, they have deluxe, medium, value. The value hotels are just as cheap as any hotels around the park, but they include rides, shuttles. They will give you a ride to and from the parks. I recommend getting in those lines early because they do take a while to get going. But if they notice that the lines are long, they'll just start sending more buses because they want to get you to the park as quickly as possible. We stayed at the Pop Century Resort, which is right next to the Skyliner. The Skyliner is another quick and easy way to get to, I think it's Animal Kingdom and Epcot. I can't remember. Also, plan for lines. Those take a while as well. So if you're wanting to get there 45 minutes to an hour early into get the park at an hour early, then you're probably going to want to start getting in line 45 minutes to an hour early. Another thing that not everyone knows about is there's ways to get discounted Disney cards. Like a Disney gift card, you can go through, if you have a Sam's Club or a Red Target credit card, they sell discounted gift cards to the Disney store or any Disneyland resort. So that means maybe you want to buy a gift card for $150. It only costs $145. Yeah, I saved $5, but if you start adding it up and maybe get a $500 gift card, you can save a good chunk of money. The nice thing about those gift cards is that they can be used for any souvenirs as well as food. So they're super helpful. And you just bring either the paper of the QR code or keep it in your email, depends on how you want to do it, or the actual card. Not exactly sure how you can set that up for mobile ordering, but I'm sure there's a way. The last couple things I want to talk about is that there are no fast passes. I think this is the best time to go because you can kind of last minute plan it. Normally during Walt Disney World, you have to plan your trips a year in advance. If you're staying in a Walt Disney Resort hotel, you can get a fast pass 90 days in advance. If you're not, it's 60 days in advance. So you're having to figure out your day so far in advance. Same with reservations for restaurants. If you want to stay at Be Our Guest during normal times, it's a year in advance to know where you want to eat in a year at a certain time. It is not like that anymore. It is still pretty difficult to get into restaurants, I feel like, but if you check, every day if you really want to eat somewhere, you can hopefully get in. And sometimes they even will let you buy the food and take it with you instead of eating in the restaurant. But I totally see where the experience of eating in the restaurant is fun. But there are no fast passes. That means there's no one passing you by in line. You are all in the same boat, which really cuts down on wait times because you're not waiting for all those fast pass people to pass you. You just all get to be together. I love that. One thing about storage, normally if you're staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel, which by the way, if you purchase through the hotel, the tickets to the theme parks are discounted, which I think is great. Normally you can purchase souvenirs and they will be directly sent to your hotel, which is a wonderful package deal. But right now, that's not an option. You have to keep your packages, your presents, your souvenirs, your t-shirts with you the whole time you're in the park and then transfer them back yourself. What we have always done in my family, even though I have children that are far too old to be in a stroller, we take our stroller and we use that stroller to pack all our stuff, our snacks, our souvenirs, our water bottles. That way mom doesn't have to carry everything. And it's super is helpful. I have not been impressed with the rental strollers that are given at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland. There's other companies that also around them will just rent out a stroller and drop it off for you at the park. We just bring our own and throw it on the plane, and it's not a big deal, and it's kind of a junky stroller anyway. We're just using it literally to carry all our crap. A couple of ways to carry your stuff on the actual ride. You don't want to leave your credit card, your cell phone on your stroller. Yes, there are cast members moving strollers from the stroller zones and making them tighter, so they're kind of keeping an eye on your stuff. I've never had anything stolen off of my stroller yet, but I do feel like you're going to want to keep like your driver's license, your credit card, that sort of thing, your tickets on you. There's a couple of ways to do that. I have a lanyard that zips up, it's waterproof, it's Elsa. And I just wear it around my neck, and I might tuck it into my jacket or something so that it doesn't get wet if I'm on Splash Mountain. It's a great way to just have zipped right on you. A couple of things. My husband obviously has a wallet, so he just keeps it on. Fanny packs, you may think they are 80s, but they are actually a wonderful way to keep your cell phone, your credit card, anything that you need all in one location. And then it doesn't get wet, and you don't have to sit on it if you're wearing like leggings and there's no pockets, which is always a problem for ladies. But I'm just saying, it's one way to keep track of your stuff. Hopefully these tips and trips help you, and I hope that you have a magical time on your Walt Disney World trip. I know I always will. Hope you all have a magical day. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, bye.